This is a little bit of a difficult question because most countries are dealing with this, and unless you're in a few countries which have a very young population, like maybe India and some African countries as well, most countries have an aging population. When you think about Canada, for example, which has a very well developed, defined benefit pension system provided by employers, because they have a population, a relatively small population, they're encouraging immigration from around the world, especially if people are qualified. And why is that a solution to the population problem? Is because you're bringing in new talent, you're increasing productivity, you're potentially increasing the GDP of the country going forward. And now you can have taxes put on those additional resources, which can help build a much more robust pension system. But if you don't have that facility to allow a lot of immigration to come in, then the hard decision that Professor Merton has written about, probably 30, 40 years ago, and Professor Modigli and I wrote about in the late 1990s in a book in 2000, is that the way to reform Social Security is you have to put more savings into it and then invest it appropriately as well. Uh, but those are decisions that will take a long time to have an impact. I think immigration will have a more immediate impact in terms of increasing the base of the population that can relieve this pressure that you have as the societies are aging.
There are two questions that Tesouro Renda Mais can help to be rethought by savers, voters, and policymakers. Firstly, that social security problems rely on higher longevity. Secondly, the frustration with a lower than expected complementary income was due to the inconsistent decisions made by savers during the accumulation process. Let's go for the first one. Higher longevity could not be a problem in my point of view, since it's exactly what science is searching for. We must celebrate life, as Professor Merton just mentioned before, uh, not blame it. But higher longevity requires more accurate financial planning to achieve a desired standard of living after retirement for this longer life. Retirement bond is part of the solution because you can measure it exactly, amount saved and real income conquered. Another part of the problem is how to incorporate rapidly in social security rules all the demographic changes and the new relations in the labor market. The second question that it's blame the victim. No, if no one had told them how much to save and what to invest to have a certain complementary income. In many countries, you have the accumulation phase, and when you are about to retire to 65, now you take the first contact with your complementary income. It's too late, and probably you get frustrated as well. So, without a retirement bond, the savers have difficulty to visualize their future income now. With the Brazilian experience, with the Brazilian Tesouro Renda Mais, it's possible to plan and track retirement savings and complementary income at the same time. It certainly will help savers to find the desired retirement income, assuming social security income and the Renda Mais payments.
I'd like to add one point to both what Arun Alexander just said about this question, going back to the question. I totally agree with them, particularly with Arun, who said that this is a difficult question. So, not an easy question to answer. Let's take a look at which nations are the most aging nations and which nations seem to have the best retirement security program. Looking at Brazil, its retirement age has grown over a course of 10 years from 7% to 10%. Has it been ready to meet that challenge? Hopefully, with Rende, it will. But let's take a look at other countries. Japan, the most aging population in by about 2050. Over a third of their population will be over 65. Next one is Italy. After Italy, you have Portugal, and then Germany, and Finland, and Bulgaria, and Sweden. These are the oldest nations on the planet, means 65 plus has a very significant segment of the population. Now, who is doing better for retirement security? Iceland is on top of the chart, and followed by Switzerland, Norway, Ireland, Netherlands, New Zealand, Australia. You see that there's a mismatch of who is aging faster and who is doing better in retirement security. So all of these countries who are doing rather well with their retirement security are they have relatively small populations, and they also have more uniform, so their solution may not be applicable to other countries. There's also clearly so that's why innovation and coming up with cool ideas like Rende is the solution in our perspective.